So if reports are to be believed, former Bradford City winger Scott Banks could be set to join League 2 rival Stockport County on a permanent basis, and in today's video I will be bringing you guys my thoughts and opinions on this news. If you do go on to enjoy, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 80 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Drop a comment as well down in the comment section down below. Bradford fans, Stockport fans, and even Crystal Palace fans as well. Let me know down below your thoughts on this news. Obviously, Banks was on loan with us last season, did really well with us, and it now looks like he's set to join Stockport County for a fee believed to be around that £250,000 mark, which is, I think, a really good price for Scott Banks. Now, I'm not really too sure how long he's got left on his contract with Crystal Palace. I think he's only got the 1 year left, so Palace are clearly looking to cash in on him now, and I personally believe Scott Banks could do a job at League One. I think as of right now, if he can keep himself fit, I think he easily gets into 15 goal contributions for a whole season. As a League One player, I expected him to go to Charlton Athletic, to be honest with you, as that Jez Run Raksaki replacement. And the fact now he could be coming back to League Two, and it's not with Bradford City, and it's also on a permanent basis, it's gutting for Bradford City, but he's a massive addition if it does go through for Stockport County. Make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you're new as well, and let's get into it. Channel memberships are now cheaper than ever, with Tier 1 costing just 99p. Tier 2 has been reduced from £3.99 a month down to £1.99 a month, and Tier 3 has been reduced from £8.99 a month down to just £4.99 a month. Your support, as always, is massively appreciated, and the more members that we have, the better the content will be. Enjoy the rest of the video. Now, this news has all come about from journalist Alan Nixon. He's put this on his Patreon account, and Alan Nixon is very hit or miss. He either gets something absolutely spot on or he's way off the mark with it, so I don't think he's as reliable as some other sources, but he has in the past got some decent things right for Bradford City, but then he's also got some things wrong. I'm pretty sure last season actually called Scott Banks coming on loan to Bradford City, but he obviously didn't do an article about it, but I found an article here from Ryan Whelan. He's put out a tweet basically saying, former Bradford City player heading to League 2 promotion rival. His article does then read, I'll leave a link to his article in the description down below. Former Bradford City player heading to League 2 promotion rivals. Stockport County is set to try and tempt former Bradford City loanee Scott Banks to Edgeley Park for an estimated £250,000 fee from Crystal Palace, according to journalist Alan Nixon on his Patreon account. The Scottish winger spent the 22-23 season on loan at League 2 Bradford under Mark Hughes and gained plaudits from sections of the fan base for his impressive performances. County have begun to show their ambition in the transfer market, adding former Manchester United midfielder Nick Powell to their starting lineup. According to the report, they're also set to sign teenage winger Shea Daniel Gardner, who has been a treble winning at Manchester City. Banks began his career at Dundee United, progressing through their youth setup and enjoying a brief spell at fellow Scottish side Clyde FC. I might have said that wrong, I do apologise. In 2020, he joined Crystal Palace's under-21s for a fee estimated to be around that £200,000 to £300,000 mark. From Selhurst Park, he then returned north of the border to Alloa Athletic and then Dunfermline Athletic on loan. His ability to score free kicks and creative play caught the eye of the Bantams, who added him to their 2022-23 roster, during his time at Valley Parade. Now, I'm not too sure if these statistics are accurate. We'll have a look at his SofaScore statistics in a moment, but according to this article, he appeared 36 times, scoring on 6 occasions whilst also chipping in with 6 assists. The season wasn't all clear sailing, as the player spent a period of time on the sidelines as Mark Hughes contended with getting the best out of his large talented squad. Upon his return, he enjoyed an upturn in form, helping secure his side a playoff spot. And the actual writer's view, Banks is an incredibly talented player who I expected to be moving to League 1 on loan this season. If Stockport managed to secure this signing, it will not only be a blow to their title rivals, but also a show of intent in an already strong League 2, especially considering that they have already added Nick Powell to their side ahead of the new campaign. Could this be Stockport's year? I wouldn't bet against it. I certainly am one of these people back in Stockport for a top 3 finish this year. As of right now, I probably would say they're my title favourites. I think Mansfield are up there. Wrexham have probably got to be up there. Notts County squad's not too bad. Gillingham spending big in the transfer market. There's a lot of competition, and I certainly think Scott Banks will bolster Stockport County's opportunities of that, very much so. Now, one of the problems for me of Scott Banks going to Stockport County is Stockport have for the large majority, play a 3-5-2, and obviously Scott Banks is a winger, so where does he fit into that system? Does he play as a second striker? I'm pretty sure Jack Stretton's going to be out for the majority of the season with an ACL injury. Kyle Wotton's going to miss the first few months of the season. I can't see him playing wing back. Obviously, we've seen it similar with Tyreek Wright. He was on loan with us for the first half of last season. He then joined Plymouth Argyle on a permanent basis, and they've been playing in wing back, and all their fans absolutely hate him. So if Scott Banks does go to Stockport, where does he fit in? Because I don't think he absolutely hates defending. You know, he really did not help Halliday a lot of the time when tracking back and trying to defend. That was clearly his biggest weak point. But if you get him 1v1 in the wide areas, even though you 99% of the time he's going to cut in on that left foot, he was like a League Two Iron Robin. You simply could not stop him. Yes, he had his injury problems, and that was a big miss for us at times. He missed about 1 or 2 months of the season around January, December sort of time. So he was a big loss for us around them parts of the season. But when he's fit, he's an absolutely exceptional player at League Two level. But where on earth does he fit in at Stockport County? I don't know if they play 2 centre mids and an attacking midfielder, or 1 holding midfielder and 2 more advanced midfielders. So I don't really think you could play him as a number 10 if they play that little bit more conservative. I don't know off the top of my head specifically, but it would be an unbelievable sign if they can fit him in. I think their only other winger on the books is Ollie Crankshaw, and their fans don't really seem to rate him too highly. But you could potentially see him play like a 3-4-2-1 and play like 2 inverted 10s. Say when Kyle Wotton's fit, you play him as your striker, and then you have Nick Powell and Scott Banks behind that. They can float out wide if they need to. Like Banks maybe goes a bit more out wide, Powell floats in a little bit more in the middle, and then you've got that constant rotation and fluidity. That would work really well at Stockport County. I think it would be an unbelievable signing. I think £250,000 is a reasonable fee. Now, it might be a little bit high considering he's only got 1 year left on his contract, but I think he's more than good enough. I think he does have that potential to play in the Championship, in my opinion. He could even go higher than that, but because you've only really seen him for not a handful of games, but he didn't play every game last season. He is a little bit injury prone. Towards the back end of the season, he was pretty good. He obviously came up with a big moment as well in our playoff at semi-final second leg, came up with the assist. Unbelievable. He was really poor actually in the majority of that game, but he came up with a big moment in a big game, and he was loved by the fans. You know, he was one of these players who came in and were a little bit unsure. There were a lot of question marks about him, but he won the fans over. His attitude and his work rate, he always wanted to have the ball, take players on, and we didn't really have many of them last season. And it is obviously a pretty big transfer fee for League Two. I think Bradford City should be able to match that. Will we be able to do so? I don't think so, because obviously our owner Stefan Rupp doesn't invest a penny into the transfer budget, so you're never really going to be able to get good players like Scott Banks in unless it's on a free transfer on a permanent contract, because we don't really spend transfer fees. If we do, they're usually no higher than that £50,000 mark, and I personally believe £250,000 for Scott Banks, you will definitely get your return in on him. Now, I'm not desperate for us to get him back, because we're also going to play a 3-5-2. It looks like that going into the upcoming campaign, so where would he then fit in for us? He's not going to play as a central midfielder pushing on, because we've got more than enough people who want to play in that role at the moment. He could maybe play as a second striker up there with Andy Cook. Obviously, Vidane Oliver, very injury prone, going to be out for the next 2 months at the absolute minimum. Matt Derbyshire is 37, something like that now, so he's getting on a little bit. Tyler Smith has, yes, he's only played 2 games, but he's not exactly impressed in his first 2 matches, to be honest with you. He's shown some good moments, but I think some of our other signings have certainly shown a lot more, but I'm certainly not going to write him off just after 2 games. Andy Cook's obviously going to start as well. He's been brilliant so far in pre-season, even against Getafe, when he didn't really have much help, didn't really have much service. I thought he still did pretty well. So I think Banks could work well off Andy Cook, and we see when we played the Diamond last season, when Tyreek Wright was running off of Andy Cook, it can work up there, but I don't think Tyler Smith's then going to be happy just to sit on the bench. You know, he's coming in and probably expects to start. And then if you add Scott Banks into that, you're going to have far too many players who are expecting to start, and you're going to cause upset. And we're going to end up like last January, where we had a lot of players leave either on loan or a permanent basis because they weren't getting the game time that they wanted. And as much as obviously it's nice to have a really good squad and you want to have 30 absolutely amazing players, it's not feasible to do that. And I wouldn't be heartbroken if we didn't get Scott Banks back. Now, don't get me wrong, if we were planning this season to play with wingers, I'd be absolutely livid if he went to Stockport County. But because it doesn't look like we are going to play with natural wingers, you don't really want to see him just kind of frozen out of the squad and not really finding a way to fit in. Like, I'm interested to see, how does Harry Chapman fit into this side? Obviously, he might end up getting a long-term ban. He's going to be injured for the first couple of weeks of the season anyway. So I'm not really too sure how Chapman does fit in there. Is he going to play as a second striker? Like, we've got a lot of good options now, but I think you do still need some sort of wingers. Say we go into the season, we don't win our first 10 games, we might need to go back to wingers. We don't really have many natural wingers on the books. You can't then just suddenly change just like that, because Harry Gary Chapman is our only real natural winger. And if we suddenly then need to play with wingers, someone like a Scott Banks would obviously be absolutely amazing, and you need that versatility and different options to have. So I think a winger would be nice. But like I say, Scott Banks doesn't currently fit into this system that we're trying to play, and I would wish him all the best at Stockport County. You know, you can't blame him for wanting to get a longer term contract. I don't really know what the money would be like, but it's a big transfer fee for Stockport County to be spending, so I'll expect that they'll be wanting him to start there. Again, how does he fit into their system? No, that is the big question at this moment in time. If we have a look then at his statistics from the 22-23 campaign, he played 29 league matches in total, starting 21 of them, averaging 62 minutes per game. He scored 6 goals, averaging a goal every 302 minutes. He averaged 2 shots per game, 0.9 shots being on target with an 11% conversion rate. He got 3 assists, averaging 34.6 touches per 90. He created 4 big chances with a 1.2 key passes created per game. 1.2 key passes per game. He had a 75% passing accuracy, 80% in his own half, and a 70% passing accuracy in the opposition half. 38% of his long balls were accurate, 24% of his chip passes were accurate, and he averaged 0.6 crosses per game, with 18% of them being accurate as well. His defensive stats are really poor, just 0.2 interceptions per game, 0.6 tackles per game, and 0.5 clearances per game as well, so that backs up my fact that he definitely cannot play wing back. He averaged 1 dribble per 90, 40% of them being successful, averaging 2.9 total duels, 2.4 on the ground, 41% of them being successful, and 0.5 in the air, with 35% of them being successful as well. He picked up 6 yellow cards throughout the course of last season. And like what I say, it will be a great signing for Stockport, but to not see him back in a Bradford City shirt next season, it will definitely hurt. I'm going to leave it there though for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try to 80 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Drop a comment in as well down in the comment section down below. Bradford fans, Stockport fans, Crystal Palace fans, let me know what your thoughts are on this potential move. Like I say, Scott Banks could be joining Stockport County for a fee believed to be around that £250,000 mark. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all very soon for another one. Peace!